Hi, I'm Dave Monty. Welcome to my video series, Everything Villages. Today I'm going to do a market update. It's October 2025, so stay tuned. As always, a couple of housekeeping items. If you like this video, please hit like. If you like my channel, please subscribe to it. Both those actions help these videos reach more people, and I greatly appreciate it. Also, if you like a copy of my free 42-page guide, Buying and Selling a Home in the Villages, you can email me right here at davemontysales@gmail.com. I also have a nifty cost of living calculator that you can also email me right here at davemontysales@gmail.com, and I'll send you out a copy. Another piece of housekeeping is I have many videos up here. Biggest bang for your buck, where we help clients update homes. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit more detail in this presentation. Aforementioned cost of living calculator, there's a couple of videos up there to show you how to use it. Understanding the two markets, pricing videos, what to bring on a buyer's trip, etc. So there's plenty of information about the real estate market here in the Villages on the rest of my channel. So this is what we're going to cover. New homes remain strong. Homes that need updating are staying on the market much longer, and I'm going to show you why. Inventory levels are leveling off a little bit. Sellers are sitting out of the market for a couple of reasons. Sellers are still asking too much for their homes, and deals are getting a little bit more contentious, just meaning that there still continues to be a disconnect between the buyers and the sellers in the market. And I'm not the only one to really mention this. I should have pulled up another headline that I saw a couple of days ago, which stated exactly that, is that there is a gap between buyer expectations and seller expectations in this market. Price reduction surge in the Villages at any time. If I look back 7 days, the last 7 days, 25% of the homes had a price reduction, and that has been fairly consistent over the last 6 months here. And I just put this in here. If you're looking to list your home, you just need to list it at the right price and listen to your realtor when they're telling you the market isn't what it used to be, and it's not. But a lot of sellers are still emotionally holding on to that big number that they saw during COVID. Canceled homes. Now, I want to change this a little bit, because we talked about fed up buyers and sellers walking away. I'm seeing this more at the contract negotiation level. We're getting within a few $1,000s on some of these deals, and the buyers are just refusing to go up a couple thousand, and the sellers are refusing to go down a couple of $1,000s. Mainly because the sellers have that expectation of those higher pricing. Their house is sat on the market. They've had price reduction. Finally, a buyer comes in and lowballs them, and they're too far apart. So still a little bit of that disconnect in expectations of this particular market. I actually remember to turn on my pointer this time. Pretty much every one of my other videos, I thought my cursor was visible on the screen, and it wasn't. Months of inventory. If you've seen any of my other videos, you know what this is. But for the people who haven't seen this before, it's a pretty powerful metric which really discusses the health of the market between buyers and sellers. A balanced market, I have 6 months here because that's what I was told, but I'm thinking that number is closer to 3.5 to 4 months as far as a balanced market. Anything higher is a buyer's market, anything less is a seller's market. As an example, during COVID, months of inventory was being measured in days. I think I saw 8 days at one point. How you arrive at this number is you take the current amount of inventory, and you divide it by the number of homes that are being sold each month. And what it tells you is if no other homes came on the market and we exhausted this inventory at the pace we're currently selling homes, how long would there be inventory left? In this case, we have 566 homes. Over the last 3 months, we're selling about 150 homes per month. And that comes out to 3.8 months of inventory, which again, like I said, is we're entering into buyer market territory. But we have seen months of inventory creeping up over time. They did come down at the beginning of the summer, and now we're kind of seeing that level off. I do anticipate that to start going up as we're entering into the time of the year where it's a little bit harder to sell homes. And then once we hit busy season, a lot of people who have the option or want to take a stab at the market at higher prices will put their house on the market during the busy season. Active listings. As you can see, the number of active listings has dropped pretty dramatically from an all-time high of around a little over 700 homes to like 500 homes that we currently, or 566 homes that we currently have on the market. What is the reasoning of this? We're not selling homes any faster. I think it's more due to the fact that sellers are not putting as many homes on the market right now. Two big reasons. One of them is interest rates. No one wants to go sell their home that has a low interest rate and then go buy another home. A very lateral move would be much more expensive with higher interest rates. The other things, especially here in the villages, is people are waiting for the market to recover. I think they're going to be waiting for a while. I don't think that is a wise move, but new listings. Here's COVID, so we had a higher number of listings during COVID. But what's interesting is that the listings are continuing to creep up. When I just said we're not putting as many homes on the market, this makes sense mainly because there's more homes in the villages, especially in the newer area. We're seeing more and more homes being sold in the newer areas at a higher percentage than anywhere else in the villages. So you kind of had that steady march of homes coming on the market. And then in the newer sections, and with the increase of number of homes here, even having a smaller percentage of homes come on the market, the raw number will continue to increase. Working in the market day in and day out, you get a sense of what's going on, and from an anecdotal standpoint. So my sense was that this was happening, and what we are seeing is that the above $700,000 mark, where you have pools and views and bigger homes and usually more updated, those homes continue to sell at a pretty fast clip. The homes that are in the lower end of the range, the ones that are updated, are still selling pretty fast. The homes that are in the middle, I thought were going down, when I'm actually seeing the sales there be flat as far as the number of sales is concerned. But I have noticed that market has been very slow in the villages over the last year or so. Days to sell has increased. Now, we saw increased sales a little bit. We were seeing decreased inventory, and you would expect the number of days to actually start coming down here. I believe the reason behind this is simple. Buyers, this is the size of the market. Buyers who want new and updated homes. Most of the buyers here are from out of town. They are a little bit younger. They have a little bit more modern taste. So they're coming in and looking for modern, updated homes. The challenge is that the updated homes on the market is fairly small. 70 to 80% of the homes, in my estimation, people bought 15, 20 years ago and have done almost nothing to them. So the buyers who want homes that are updated is a very large market. The number of homes that are updated is very small here in the villages. So that results in homes being sold at a reasonable rate if the homes are updated. Now, conversely, it's just the flipped version of this, is that buyers willing to update a home or put sweat equity into it is very small. I hear it all the time. We just retired. Last thing I want to do is come down here and work. I just want to move in, unpack, and play. But the amount of inventory that requires sweat equity is pretty big. So these homes that are sitting on the market are really affecting the days of sales, because we're having difficulty selling these homes that need updating. So let's talk about pricing a little bit, updated versus not updated home pricing. During COVID, this gap shrunk quite a bit. So even the homes that needed updating, people are afraid of missing out, not even being able to afford something here in the villages, so they were buying homes that needed updating and putting a little bit of work into them. But it wasn't as financially viable as it is today. So what I mean by that is, as this market is softening and we're starting to see decreases in pricing, it's the non-updating homes that are dragging that down. And these are the ones that are having price reduction after price reduction. So often you can buy a home that needs updating, you update it, here's your cost, and you're less than it would cost to buy an updated home. So I call that the convenience premium. So you are paying a premium for a home that is already updated. Now, if you decide to buy one that's not updated and do your own work, then that premium becomes your equity. I have a team of people. We actually update homes for people. It is hard for most people because it's hard to envision when you walk into a home that needs a lot of work what it's going to look like when it's done. Just know that I have a team of people, and we are proud of the work that we produce for our buyers or listing clients. Sometimes we will update homes for people before we list them. Price per square foot continues to come down. And again, at the high end, homes are continuing to increase. At the low end, homes have kind of leveled off on pricing. But in the middle, with the homes that need updating, the bulk of the inventory, buyers not wanting outdated homes, those homes are continuing to decrease in price. And since that's the bulk of the market, I think that's really affecting the overall price per square foot here. Just drawing a slope on how fast homes were appreciating before COVID. We're almost to that. We're getting closer and closer and closer. So we're almost to that point where we might be bouncing off this curve, hopefully. So hopefully once we hit this point, you'll start seeing normal appreciation of homes. This graph plots what the original asking price was of the home to the final sales price. And as you can see, since COVID, where we were getting pretty close on average to what people were asking for their homes, we've been steadily declining in this percentage over time to the point where we're at about 91, 92% right now, which is actually pretty huge. That's average. So some of them are going at 80% of the original price. Some of them are still going at 100%. But on average, we're almost 8% off in this market. And that's, again, the sellers asking too much for their homes. They're having to price decrease, and then finally a buyer will make an offer when they feel the house is at a fair price for them. Again, the market is speaking. The sellers are starting to come along. Unfortunately, most of the sellers are not getting there until after the home's been on the market for a couple of months. Other factors. I hear this all the time. We bought new. We need to sell our house first. Waiting on interest rates to come down. Uncertain about the government-funded programs, and we're right in the middle of a shutdown right now, so we get a lot of people nervous, and some people are nervous about inflation due to tariffs. But these are all things that I'm hearing from different buyers. Interest rates, just kind of to show what has been going on here over the last 5 years. And you can see they've been steady between 7 and 6% for a little while. We're getting closer to the 6%. We actually saw a little bit of a bump when the Fed reduced their prime interest rate. The mortgage rates ticked up. It gets complicated why that happens, but you're going to need to see a much bigger drop in the prime rate before we start seeing reduced interest rates on the housing market. I kind of put this in here just for context. If you look in the 80s, we were like up here on average like 18%. The average interest rate is actually a little bit higher than where we are right now. It's actually in this spot right here, almost pretty close to 7%. And right now, like I said, we're between 7 and 6%. This is just a snapshot of the market that shows up on my dashboard every day. And you look down here, I went back 7 days. We've had 60 new listings. We've had 66 sales, so that's a good positive on the seller side. But we've had 100 price decreases out of 550 homes on the market in the last 7 days. So again, people are pricing too high and riding that wave down. Kind of just to summarize this again, the market's been very consistent. We've been around that 4 months of inventory for almost 6 months now. We are seeing pricing continue to decrease, and I think what's driving that is the number of homes that need updating is pretty high, and those homes now are widening in their gap between homes that are updated, pricing of the homes that are already updated, and the homes that need updating. That gap is getting wider and wider, which presents opportunities for buyers. And again, we help people update their homes. Interest rates remain high. A lot of people just are not entering into the real estate market due to a lot of uncertainty right now. Well, I hope you found this informative. Again, a little bit of housekeeping. If you'd like a copy of my free 42-page guide, Buying and Selling a Home in the Villages, or a copy of my cost of living calculator, you can email me right here at davemontysales@gmail.com. I hope to see you around the Villages. Take care.